Section 4.4 Homework 4.4.7. In an effort to gauge how the country's population feels about the immigration, researchers surveyed adult citizens. One question asked was, on the whole, do you think immigration is a good thing or a bad thing for this country today? The results of the survey by ethnicity are given in the accompanying table, and we're going to complete parts A through F. First question is they want us to ask how many adult citizens were surveyed, meaning what is the total amount of citizens that were surveyed. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up all of these numbers here. So the first thing we're going to do is add up the total. So the table total is taking 180 all the way added to 6, which gives us 783. So therefore we can say that the table total is going to give us 783. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to that question. So our answer is 73. Now the next question says, how many Hispanics were surveyed? So here we're going to find the total of Hispanics. So it's going to be 147 plus 33 plus 12 plus 6. And so total Hispanics, 147 plus 33 plus 12 plus 6 is going to give us 198. So therefore, in our second part here, our answer is 98. Okay? And then let's just go ahead and just total up for the rest of it. So if we want to find the total amount for the next category, which is total blacks here, 154 plus 101 plus 14 plus 11 gives us 280. And then the last one, the total non-Hispanic whites is 180 plus 107 plus 9 plus 9, and that gives us a total of 305. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to want to create a relative frequency marginal distribution. Okay, so what do we need to do here? Well, in this example, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to add up all the values in the first column. So what are all the values in the first column? Well, we know all the values in the first column is 180 plus 107 plus 9 plus 9. So we're adding all of those. And then we're dividing it by the total of 783 to give us 305 divided by 783 to give us 0.389. Okay, next, we're going to take the next values. So we're going to take 154 plus 101 plus 14, and that gives us a total of 280. Again, we're dividing it by the table total to give us 0.3575. Okay, next, we're now going to add the last column, and that's 147 plus 33 plus 12 plus 6, which gives us 198. And we're dividing it by the table total of 73 to give us 0.2528. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're now going to add the rows together. So if we add the rows here together, we're going to get 180 plus 154 plus 147, which is equal to 481. And then dividing it by the table total is going to give us 0.6143. Okay, next, we're going to find the total here of 107 plus 101 plus 33, which gives us 241. And then we're going to divide it by the table total of 73 to get 0.3077. Okay, next, we're going to find the row total of 9 plus 14 plus 12, which gives us 35. Divided by the table total is 783. Which gives us 0.0446. And then the last one, the last row is 9 plus 11 plus 6, which gives us 26. And dividing it by the table total of 73 is 0.0332. Okay, now when I add this entire last column, I get around close to 1, and when I add the last row here, I'm also going to get 1. So if we round all of these to 3 decimal places, which we'll do that, we have 0.614, 0.310, 0.045, 0.033, And here we have 0.390, 0.358. This is 0.253. So what we're going to do is we go ahead and then put in our values here, and those are our results for the relative frequency marginal distribution. Okay, now the next thing that we want to do is we want to find out what proportion of adult citizens feel that immigration is a good thing for this country. So here, this is the good thing, and we're looking at the percentage for this entire row, which is 0.614. So 0.614, okay, represents that amount. So 6.614 are the adult citizens that feel that immigration is a good thing for this country. Okay, next question says, construct a conditional distribution of immigration opinion by ethnicity. Okay, so we're going to now create a conditional distribution of immigration opinion by ethnicity. Okay, so we're going to look at the good thing. Okay, so if we look at the good thing, we know that there's 180. So there's 180 that represent a good thing. Okay, so we have 180, and we're dividing it by the total in that column, which is 305, to get 0.5901. Next, we're going to take the next value of 107 and dividing it by the column total of 305 here to get 0.3508. Next, we're going to take the next value of 9 and then divide that by the column total of 305. So again, we're taking this 9, dividing it by 305 to get 0.0295. And then doing the same thing, we're going to take 9 and then divide it by the column total of 305 to give us 0.0295. And when I add up these values, it gives me a total of 1. Okay, let's take a look at the next column. Well, the next column tells us that we have the following. We have 154 divided by the column total of 280, which gives us 0.550. Next, we take the next value of 101. We're going to divide it by the column total of 280 to get 0.3607. And then next, we take the next cell value of 14 and then divide it by the column total of 280 to get 0.0500. And then the last value, which is 11, and we're going to divide that by the column total of 280 to get 0.0392. Okay, next, what we want to do is we're going to take the value of 147, and then we're dividing it by the column total of 198 to get 0.2424. Next, we're taking the value of 33, which is in the next cell, and dividing that by the column total of 198 to get 0.1666. Okay, and then next, we're going to take the next cell value, which is 12, dividing that by the column total of 198 to get 0.0606. And then the last one, we're going to take 6 and then divide by the column total of 198 to get 0.0303. Now, if I add up all these numbers, then I get 1 down here for each value. And then let's just go ahead and round each particular item to 3 decimal places. So this gives us 0.590, 0.351, 0.030, 0.030. This is 0.550, 0.361, 0.050, and 0.040. Over here we have 0.742, 0.167, 0.061, and 0.030. So we go ahead and then we fill in this information. So there is our conditional distribution. Okay, so now what we want to do is it's asking us to draw a bar graph of the conditional distribution found in Part D. Now, if we look at the bar graphs that are given, it's saying here that the leftmost blue bar graph represents a good thing. The middle left green represents the bad thing. The middle right red represents the good and bad. And the rightmost gray represents no opinion. We want to create a graph. So by doing that, we're going to go ahead and open this up into StatCrunch. Okay, so our columns are now going to become the following. We're going to make our column. So, well, first, we're going to create our rows. So our rows is going to be the ethnicity. So we're going to call this ethnicity. Okay, so we have non-Hispanic whites here. We have blacks here, and then Hispanics listed here. And then the results, which is the next, which represents a good thing, goes up here for this title of that column. Copy and paste this one here. Copy and paste good and bad. And then copy and paste no opinion. Okay, and now we're going to put these numbers into our data. So we have good thing, which is 0.590. And we also know this is 0.351, which is the non-Hispanic whites that represent a bad thing. And then 0.030, 0.030. So we want to make sure it matches our table there. And then for the next column, for the good thing, we have 0.550, 0.361, 0.050, and 0.039. And then the last one, 0.742, 0.167, 0.061, 0.030. Okay? So now that we have our information, we're going to use the column for ethnicity and then these columns here. So we're going to go ahead and select graph and then go to chart and select columns. And now the columns that we're going to select are good thing, bad thing, good and bad, and opinion, since that's what we created. We want the row labels to be in ethnicity. We want to make sure that we have vertical bars that are split. And we also want to make sure that we have horizontal lines selected as well. So now that we have all that information, we're going to go ahead and compute and then look at our graph. Okay, so the first graph, we have the blue goes all the way up close to 0.59, and we can see that it doesn't match part A, so we can eliminate A. If we look at B, we can see it goes to 0.6. This value goes to 0.351, and those match. We can say that these match, and we can say that these match. So far it works for B. And if we look at C, we'll see that the blue is less than the green here. So that means that B represents our bar graph. And then lastly, it says, is ethnicity associated with opinion regarding immigration? And if so, how? Well, yes, ethnicity is associated with opinion regarding immigration. Hispanics are more likely to feel that immigration is a good thing for the country and much less likely to feel that it is a bad thing.